It's Friday night, September 22nd, and we have the 11 p.m. update on Tropical Storm Ophelia. Did not quite make it to hurricane strength. Still about 3 or 4 more hours from the storm making landfall. Slight chance that it could intensify, but it really doesn't matter whether it's a 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm, 75-mile-per-hour hurricane. The effects here in Hampton Roads will be the same. Here's what we're looking at as far as live radar as of 11:34 p.m. Friday night. Notice sort of these bands of rain that have set up, and a really heavy band right now pushing through northeastern North Carolina. We've seen that rain overspread the area, continue to work its way off towards the north and west. And I mentioned there are those sort of bands that have set up, and we'll continue to see some of these bands rolling through as we go here through the early part of the overnight. Here's the storm spinning offshore, slowly working its way towards the northwest at 12 miles per hour. 70-mile-per-hour winds right now just off the coastline, and it is going to come ashore, say, around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then once it comes ashore, it'll start to weaken. It's moving over land. It's losing the nice warm waters that help fuel tropical systems. And then it's also encountering the friction of the land, the trees, the buildings, and it'll continue to weaken as it moves pretty much right up Interstate 95 from, say, around Rocky Mount up towards areas around Emporia, then just east of Richmond up towards D.C. and Philadelphia, falling apart as a remnant low as we head into Sunday evening. Now, winds as of 11:35, we've seen gusts over 40 miles per hour right now, 47 in Norfolk, 44, Virginia Beach, 41, Elizabeth City, 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts up at Wallops Island. But we've had some higher gusts as we have gone here through the evening, over 50 miles per hour in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and Wallops Island, and near 50 miles per hour in Manio and Elizabeth City. So we'll still see those gusty winds and some of those bands as they roll through. That's where we see some of the strongest winds. Rainfall since midnight, nearing 3 inches of rain in Chesapeake, almost 2 inches in Virginia Beach, almost 3 inches in Elizabeth City, and 2.5 in Edenton. Inland spots where we haven't seen as much in the way of heavy rain. The rain took a lot longer to start than places towards the south and east. We haven't seen as much rain, but we'll still see that rain as we roll here through the overnight. We said generally 2 to 4. Some places might see more than 4 inches of rain in isolated spots. Still looks to be the case, and some of the heaviest of the rain where the storm makes landfall and works its way up Interstate 95. That's what we're calling for the potential for heavy rain along the storm track. So as we head into the day Saturday, some places like Richmond and central Virginia could see heavier rain than we're looking at through coastal areas. Overnight, still very possible that we could see some issues with flooding from the heavy rain. That would be in, some of the more urban areas where we have the poor drainage systems, or it's not really that the drainage systems are poor, just the rain comes down so quickly that it overwhelms those storm drains. And since those storm drains empty into the rivers and the tidal basins, when the tide levels are up, that makes it even more difficult for the water to drain across the area. And certainly along the Pamlico Sound, it's likely. And as we go through Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon, got that bullseye here along that forecast track with the system up around Richmond. Still possible as we head into the early morning that we could have some issues with flooding, but I think you'll notice here on Futurecast with the storm track, we might see the rain really let up through coastal areas as we go through the day Saturday. So overnight, still rounds of rain pushing in, still likely looking at some scattered showers, possibly a few thunderstorms as we head into your Saturday morning. Winds still gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour. But you'll notice that here's the center of the storm, as we mentioned, moving close to Interstate 95, and that's where some of the heaviest of the rain will be. Saturday afternoon, we might get some of that dry air being pulled in, which will mean we dry up a bit here through coastal areas. Still breezy, still windy, winds gusting over 30 miles per hour, even into the afternoon. And then as the storm lifts off towards the north Saturday evening, any showers and thunderstorms should come to an end. Cloudy to start the day on Sunday, maybe an early morning shower or two. Still breezy, but clearing out by the afternoon. The other issue with the strong winds coming in out of the east and northeast, at least through the overnight and start of the day tomorrow, several areas here around the Chesapeake Bay and the James River and the York River that we're watching in the red moderate flooding, major flooding possible in these pink areas. That's areas around Yorktown, Jamestown. We'll have to watch around Poquoson, even here through parts of Gloucester County. Have to watch areas through Mobjack Bay, also over towards the Lynn Haven Inlet and around Chicks Beach, Chesapeake Beach. Those areas could have some issues with the flooding as well. Sewell's Point, Friday afternoon came in at 4.6 feet. That's considered minor tidal flooding at Sewell's Point. Getting up to 6.4 though during the overnight around 3 a.m. Of course, major flooding starts at 6.5, so it's going to be close to that. And the last time we were this high was back on January 2nd, I believe, in 2022. So it's been almost 2 years, 1 year and 3/4 since we've seen tide levels this high. But with the wind shifting around, we should see those tide levels dropping, moderate tidal flooding on Saturday, and then by early Sunday morning during the overnight, tidal levels returning back to normal levels. Yorktown got to 4.2 Friday afternoon, overnight 5.7, Saturday afternoon 5.5. That's considered major flooding along the York River, so that's why we'll be watching that area closely even tomorrow morning, and then by Sunday, tide levels going down. Not as big of an issue, at least on the Atlantic side, for the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Here's Duck, 4.5 feet as far as those tide levels go, going down on Sunday. But we're worried about the backside of the system as it works its way off towards the north. We could see some sound side flooding. So that's the latest on the tropics as of 11 p.m. here on Friday, September 22nd. Of course, we'll keep you updated throughout the night and throughout the day, Saturday, right here on air and online.